couple maybe of words about me before we start and what's the point of this workshop today. So I'm Mike, and currently I work with Uniswap. Before that, I was doing a lot of React Native in the open source together with Facebook team. That's actually what my previous business was about. Maybe you have heard Cold Stack. We're doing like React Native in the open source. So I kind of started with Web 2 background, and I ended up doing Web 3, which surprisingly turned out to be pretty much the same, which is very cool. Like the tech stack is the same. And so Patrick just asked me for like running this workshop to show you a bit of how does the getting started look like with React Native. So I guess my question to you all is like, what's your background? And like Patrick told me like when I asked him like what are the people that will be attending the workshop, he said Web 2 devs, but I already see at least one person who's not a Web 2 dev at all, which is actually the only person who texted me that I was running late for this workshop. And so, yeah, that's I guess my question. So if you could just maybe briefly do like a quick round of introductions, maybe what's your background and what you're planning to take away from the workshop, that would be great. Mostly the first one. You want to start from this side?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sandhya. I'm doing my arithmetic, and I'm from Web3 background.
Yeah, I'm Nate, and I work for the DAPP project. I'm basically a smart contract developer.
I'm Ilyas, I'm a developer and do many random things.
Okay.
Myself Chandrasekhar, and I have around 12 years of experience primarily working in like mobile, backend and web. And I'm in a leadership team part of Frontier Wallet.
Okay. So how do we go now? Either this round or the other? Depends on how we look at it. Okay,
Sure, I can go next. My name's Raj. I work for a cryptocurrency exchange now. I manage a software team. It's been a couple of years since I coded, but you know, and I have no prior Web3 experience. But I figured, okay, this is a good project to dive into, and that's what we do.
Cool.
My name is Scott Tsai, so I'm a technical founder for my own project. My technical background is actually closer in operating systems and blockchain clients. I ended up doing smart contracts as well. My CSS foo is close to non-existent, but I can sort of debug React Native build failures because of the
that's what I thought immediately when you said like class background. Like,
yeah,
that's where we can have some fun, I guess.
sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Right, hello everyone, I'm Robert. Got some experience with Web3. I've built an AMM online, which is actually online at zircon.finance. And it's built on Uniswap, so it's got a similar interface. And yeah, my Web3 experience is mostly with React, just React. So getting a lesson about React Native is kind of interesting. Cool.
Hi, my name is Issei. I'm from Japan. I'm agent for Japanese content marketing company. I'm CEO, but not engineer and developer. Today I'm learning about tune builds and engineering point, something like that. Nice to meet you too.
My name is Vinay. I'm a mobile application developer. I've been working on iOS, Android, and now React Native. It's 15 years I've been working with mobile.
Nice. And when was the first time you started with React Native?
It's been around 3-4 years now.
Yeah. So you are one of the people that can say like, you see the development, it's changing, right? It's much better than it used to be like.
Yeah, so it's a new architecture which has come in and
Yeah, I started when it was like 0.3. So, you know, like what happens today is just beautiful. Like it's a pleasure to be doing this workshop. So I was doing workshops like 4 years ago, and I was just like getting people started with native stuff was just crazy. So it's much better now. And yeah, and now is your turn. Actually, he will be helping me today as well, because you know I figure it's good to have backup for this. So yeah.
Yeah, my name is Harsh. I'm in Web3 space for like more than 6 years. I run a company called Paddleshop. We provide like a dev shop. We work with a lot of clients like Micronomy, Polygon, Solana, Ethereum Foundation, Pillow Fund. We develop smart contract, dApps, UX, everything for them. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So you see the split here is, of course, he will be probably the Web3 expert here. I will be pretty sure able to answer all of your questions. I'm more than happy to answer any React Native Web3 related questions you may have. But you know, I haven't started with like blockchain 6 years ago, last year actually, which even though I think it's like still early in the game, so it's great that we are here together. So we will be building React Native app today, and just before we start, just a little comment that React Native, like how many of you have done React Native before maybe actually to start with?
Long time.
Yeah, long time back.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
4 years back, I was working for 2-3 years in React Native. And then moved to Flutter.
Yeah.
5-6 years back. Yeah. But I heard a lot has changed. Like,
Because-
Oh yeah,
because of
yeah,
power?
yeah.
Yeah?
Because of power?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So I still like Flutter, but like when it comes to Web3, it's all about React Native.
Yeah, that's my impression too. We had lots of discussions. Like my other company is like, we have like 100+ engineers, and we do React Native all around the world. So naturally, every time there's like somebody scared of React Native dying, we hear those discussions and we have them. And we used to have lots of them like 2-3 years ago, but now everybody's like in it. I think part of that is Web3 actually, because like when you look at the React Native space, like most of the projects are like Web2. So when I was chatting with like investors and other clients, they were like, okay, React Native is strong, but it's not gaining any new traction. And now I can say like, here is new cake. Like Web3 didn't exist with React Native like 2-3 years ago, and now it's like something newer. React Native is shining. So
So similar opinion I also have. Like I thought like React Native is gonna die when Flutter was becoming popular. But like my perception got totally changed when I moved into Web3 space 4-5 years ago. Because like right from like because code bases are like monolith repositories. For example, like they use a like a reusable JavaScript layer in both React as well as React Native. Projects like Ledger, they do have like a monolith code base, mono repository, not monolith.
Yeah.
So mono repository, and that's why like I'm here. Like I still find like Web3 when it comes to Web3, like React Native for mobile going to be the future.
Well, I'm biased, so I can only say yes. Cool. So the reason I asked this question is, when I was preparing this workshop, I was thinking like, what would be the best way to build a React Native DAPP? Uniswap is not a React Native DAPP; it's a web DAPP, and that actually changes a lot. Because React Native, theoretically, one may say it's like web, like a browser environment, but like it's missing some of the, let's say, foundational pieces, and actually these pieces turn out to be very important. And of course you can polyfill some of them, like buffer, or like, I don't know, like text encoder and decoder, or maybe like basics of crypto library, but there's a lot of polyfills that are missing or totally gone. For example, right now you cannot actually run XMTP on React Native just because there is no subtool crypto support, so it's not going to work. And if you make it run, it's going to run for like 5 minutes just to try generating PGP keys, so not recommended. So the point is, when I was preparing this workshop this week, I got stuck for like 2 days trying to get Wallet Connect to run on mobile. As I was like, okay, we're building DAPP, so we're going to use Wallet Connect, it's going to be fun. Forget about it. It's not possible, and that's part of the reason, like that's actually a good thing for you. Like, you can come here and you can stress test all those problems that you might have faced otherwise and be like, okay, it's not just me. So yes, I can confirm, it is very hard to run some of those things today. They're changing, so the point is that maybe next month Wallet Connect is going to have like amazing React Native support, because we're actually working closely on this.
Yeah, Wallet Connect version 2.0.
Yes, I spent last month doing Wallet Connect 2.0 for Uniswap, which is like my talk tomorrow, and like
Yeah, so
it's
till today morning I was also like researching on that, so we are integrating it basically.
Yeah, it's cool, but there were some like tiny little problems. We can talk about them later. So anyway, what I'm saying is, ideally, you should be able to have a React Native DAPP, like a web DAPP, where you can. Hello. Hi. What's up? So what I was saying is, theoretically, you should be able to build a React Native DAPP just like any other DAPP, where you can connect with your wallet and do all sorts of different transactions. But like I said, Wallet Connect is now broken, so I didn't really want to make like bloated, polyfilled version of like native code for you, because that's just not the point. Instead, we can use something different, which is actually widely supported and it's really awesome, which is using Web3 Auth, or formerly known as Taurus Wallet, I guess, which is pretty much a social login for Web3 projects. So the way it works is that we are going to log in with like password, link, Google, Gmail, whatever, and then we are creating a intermediate wallet based on that social account. So the idea is that you can generate wallets on the go for your users. So if you're onboarding somebody from the street and they're like, you're building like a Web3 project, you're like logging in whatever way you want, and then you have a wallet, you can do some sort of different things. So everything from that point onwards will be reusable when we switch to Wallet Connect later. But this is just the easiest and actually quite impressive thing we can build today. So the point is that we're going to be building a very simple mobile app, just one screen, no styling. However, you can style it, I can help you style it as well, but I just wanted to focus on the logic. We're gonna build a very simple app where we log in with Gmail or whatever is your choice. Then we're going to have we're going to connect to Ethereum, actually Polygon. We're gonna check our balance, and then we're gonna send some transaction to somebody based on the private wallet keys we're gonna have. And then we're going to have an ERC20 token, which is a Ethereum standard, something like USDC. We're going to learn how does this work, in case you did not or you want to refresh your knowledge, and how to transfer and operate with those smart contracts. And if we have time, we can also talk about other things like navigation, actually connecting to Solana as well with this whole setup, and maybe about different things like whatever you want to ask about React Native pretty much at that point. How are we gonna do it? There is a GitHub repo that I created actually today, so it's like I'm pretty sure everything's running. And every step that we'll be going through is a separate commit. So I encourage you to build from scratch, and worst case scenario, just copy and paste rather than check out the repo and just jump through commits, but it's pretty much up to you. I think the most efficient way to do it will be to just go through those steps, maybe discuss, give you guys like 15 minutes for each to do. You can check out how it's done. I'll be, of course, describing high-level idea of it as well, and we'll see where we go. Any questions, thoughts, things to look at, pay attention? Does everybody have Node running? No judgment. You guys are set up with Node.js? Cool. So that's pretty much all you need, I guess. Everybody's on Mac, or we have somebody not on Mac?
Mac.
Okay, so Mac everywhere. Your Mac is like very dark. It looks almost like
It's
Go
like
on.
a
it's like Dell.
Okay,
But it's
no,
actually
case.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. You know, these days doesn't really matter because we have Expo. But when I was running workshop like 3 years ago, and people showed up with Windowses, I was like, oh my god. You know, usually like Android issues all the time. So cool. We all got Macs. Everybody's using VS Code, or do we have any Vim power users?
So I use WebStorm.
Okay, that's cool. That's also cool. So throughout the code base that I'm going to share with you, I'm using Uniswap ESLint config, and that ESLint config, that ESLint config is everything in a single config that we use internally, which is not only ESLint but also Prettier and all sorts of different things. So if you would like to use VS Code and you have ESLint plugin installed, you can go through that setup as well, and just be careful because the way it works is that as soon as you install it and configure it, everything starts working, including Prettier automatically, and we don't use semicolons. So I know that's a hard one, so just saying. I was pretty skeptical, but when I joined Uniswap, they were like not using semicolons anyway, so I didn't have choice. And actually, I have to say, I quite like it without. So maybe you try as well. Cool. So now I guess from the communication perspective, are you all on Telegram conference group?
The E2
Yeah. Because I think that might be like what would be the easiest way to set up a group so we can share the links around.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a
separate group.
is there like QR code for group or whatever?
So create a group and just show QR code here, everybody can scan it. And
Okay, let me see if I can do it actually. How do you set up group? Like,
just go
I
to-
started using Telegram just like
Yeah.
recently because everybody was using WhatsApp before. Okay, so I'll just start with you.
There a link to
Actually, I need to add you to a friend. I need to create contact. Oh. New group. Alright. Okay, workshop. Send invite link. Nice. I sent you. And now invite the group via link.
Yes.
Get QR code. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna display the QR code so we can all join. What is that?
Pawan is not coming.
Yeah, I just consider this as my vacation. So not in officially.
Let me know if you can scan because I think it's Oops, works. I think it's cut. Yeah, it's cut, just like by 1 centimeter, I think.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, I cannot get it.
Yeah. All we just need to zoom.
Can you zoom out a little bit?
Yeah.
Actually, I cannot because
You can make the windows.
I'll open it again.
I got it now.
Yeah, join.
So you want to make it smaller?
Yeah, it's good in the middle.
Okay. Okay, if you have any questions later after the workshop, you can also DM me on the Telegram microgroup or directly. Yeah. So I'm sharing the link to the project. It's open, so you should all see it. And yeah, I guess just the very first thing we're going to do, which is probably like, depending on where we are, going to take us some time, is just getting started with like basic React Native apps. So the idea is that we want to have React Native mobile app running and just saying hello world and stuff with TypeScript. Are anybody's not using TypeScript? Okay. Not using Flow anymore. Cool. So the first part is just getting started with React Native mobile app, and the quickest way to do it is to get started by doing it with Expo, which is like a all-in-one suite for running everything React Native related. And I'm going to explain it briefly in a second, but what you can do is everybody can try running this command. I'm going to show you. Actually, we're going to quickly create. We're going to create a brand new project actually. And change the font size. No, it's not that. Actually, I'm going to do the worst thing that I can, which is just pasting the command in the chat. And I'm going to run it here as well. So, as you're running it, I can briefly go over what Expo is, which thankfully is something that will make our life easier today. How many of you have used Expo?
Yes, I have used.
Okay, so 2 people. So everybody who hasn't used Expo before, you're gonna love it, because the good news is that it's everything, all included React Native. So normally when you're building React Native app, you have to React Native install it, and then you have those native folders, you have to run them, and you have to open Xcode and do all sorts of different things. If you're lucky, you can get away with just running a npm start or something command, and it's gonna kind of work. Expo is something that is managing the whole life cycle for you. So rather than building a standalone application throughout the development life cycle, you can think of it as rendering web app inside a browser. So Expo is like a browser, and inside that application is your React Native code. And Expo takes care of all the native modules, takes care of all the breaking changes of React Native, performance, speed, and stuff. So the way it works is that everything's included for you, and as you can see, very simple command is spinning up everything you need with GitHub repo, basic project structure, and stuff like that. And also the good news is that Expo is like well documented. All the modules have like amazing documentation. They work, unlike with React Native where sometimes you have some issues. And you also have very nice DX pipeline for developing your application to the App Store, which is pretty much a single command, and you can actually deploy it to the cloud as well very easily. So forget all the signing, forget all the Apple issues. You don't have to do it. All you have to do is just log in with your CLI Apple account, and everything's done automatically for you. So as soon as it happens, as you can see at the very end, you have some commands, and the idea here is that you just need to go to this app and pretty much npm run iOS. I'll be quickly switching to Yarn anyway, so you can choose to use Yarn anyway. And what's going to happen is two things. The first one is this command is going to start something called packager, which is like Webpack. It is what is bundling the whole code into a single file. So always make sure that this is actually running somewhere. Mine is not going to run because I do happen to have another one running, which is the demo project. So for you, there should be actually a QR code, which you can also scan with your actual device if you want to build on your real device, not on the simulator. So that's kind of up to you. Let me actually close the other one so we can see this one going further. So yeah, as you can see, the port is taken. So it asks me if I want a different one. So that's kind of DX improvements that I'm talking about. Like you don't have to think about it. So what's going to happen now is, you can see it's starting Metro Bundler. You got this beautiful QR code. You got some URLs, IP address where your code is hosted, and some other information. So once you get to this stage, you have to press I, which is Open iOS Simulator, and at this point we're going to see potentially some issues to resolve, because if this is your first time doing it, chances are that you may not have some agreements or executes or whatever. Yes?
So you executed command npm run iOS or Android? iOS?
Run iOS.
Okay.
Actually, at this point, it doesn't really matter, because as you can see, you can still press A for Android. What happened actually when I did run iOS is that Packager is just building entry point for iOS. So it's like bundle splitting.
Yeah.
There are actually tool files at the end of the day. Your application for iOS, which has all the dev code for Android eliminated, and for Android, which has all the iOS code eliminated. But because we are not running Android, like I'm not going to be running Android today, unless I have to, so I'm sticking to the iOS. And the good thing about Expo is that all the modules are cross-platform. So you don't really have to worry about Android until the very, very end. If it's working on iOS, it's going to work for you as well. So you press I, and it should spin up the simulator, whatever is the default, and the default script is open app.js to start working on your app. And my question is, who's still not at this point?
I'm not. Looks like my Android setup is like screwed.
Yeah, you can see this is it's running here.
Okay. Maybe I will start an emulator first.
If you want to work with like pure React Native, you can. It's up to you. Yeah. The only problem is that in my code I'm using Expo modules, and I think there might be some additional setup required for them. If you want, you can go with that. It's just that I'm afraid that it may require some time for the UV modules to work. You know, like the Expo clipboard and stuff like that. But if you're feeling like adventurous, you can replace them on the go with the ones that work with React Native. So feel free to do it. Okay, and how's it going for you guys?
Installing packages.
Okay.
So the command was like Expo start --.
Yeah, actually, yeah, this or just Expo start will do. you guys? Okay. Because I'm not sure, like, I should wait for everybody or not, but if you're just chilling and just watching what's going on, that's also okay. I'm not gonna be stressing you out. Just want to make sure that if anybody's stuck, just let me know, so I can help. But like I said, every step, including this one, is on GitHub, so you can just check it out, and I'm more than happy to answer at any point.
Internet is too slow. That is also a problem.
Yes. Do you have the server running? Doesn't look like us.
No, it dies when I haven't seen that.
Those are the issues that I love at workshops. Every time you do it, there's something.
How's it going to I'm one of the mentor speaker.
Oh yeah.
You checked out the request. That's also fine.
That's
That's also fine. In this case, I would recommend to check out the very first commit in the project.
Sorry?
Or actually, maybe if you want, you can start by running this command that I pasted on Telegram. Because once you run it and you get to this stage, everything can be copied and pasted between the projects. So it might be a bit easier.
We work with your founder when early stage they started a friendship. When Ravindra started this thinking about starting Frontier, they contacted
Okay, what was the command you run?
initially we
Okay, this is.
Even I was there right from the beginning.
training.
You know what? I'm thinking this
I
might be.
still remember the place where it was just like one thing happened. We started off with the hello world.
No. This should work. I just ran it. So.
Actually, I do the same thing. We register
One is a good friend.
Yeah, I know.
Also, like
Yeah,
even standing outside the table was not able to recognize
Yeah. So you should get out of this project, just to another folder. So not run inside this one.
Probably the bear market is
Make sure you go.
Totally
This folder.
I'm not using any.
Yeah. This one is just for reference. You don't have to clone it.
how USB
It's just for you to know that if you get stuck at some point, you can check this project. But now we're trying to get it started from
fine
scratch.
for you.
Yeah.
Fine for you. Frontier don't have a setting.
And how's the events issue going? Any progress?
That is crazy. Like,
So see, the thing is that once you guys get started with React Native, then everything else will be easy. Like once you get polyfills inside, which I'm not gonna lie, it took me like a week to figure all them out. Because what happens usually is you go to Stack Overflow and you read about those projects not working, and people are like, oh, just install this package, which is called Node.js polyfills. So you go inside and there's like 50 modules. They don't give a fuck, like Streams Browserify, Crypto Browserify, and shit like that. And people usually include it, and it's bloating your app because your project doesn't need all of them, and some of them are not maintained. So we have like the smallest subset that is like making it possible to run. And once you get it set up, whether you do transactions like we do today or whatever, it's like up to you. At this point, you're like, you have provider, you have wallet, you can do whatever.
Yeah, mine is also done.
So it's just about getting started.
Yes.
Okay, I'm surprised to see. Actually, you know, I have to tell you, I have not run on Android at all this project. So you will be the person to tell me if it's working.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Hopefully it is.
So,
All right. Okay, so you got somewhere.
No, I had to run it on item, and then it didn't work on the.
So you did check out. Okay, so you did check out the. No, I know why it does not work. So rather than just select this one. Okay, so rather than running this inside the project, you can check out the fresh one. But if you want to run this one, just run the generate whatever, just generate types command and restart. This is just I did not do post install just on purpose. Okay, anybody else? Like still setting it up?
yeah,
I don't have Xcode.
Okay, so, oh my god. We'll check back with you in like 3 hours with this internet. I mean, okay. Actually, yeah.
You can do one thing. You can just go to the code sandbox and
Expo snack maybe.
Expo snack maybe.
Yeah.
Both
Expos?
Expo snack.
snack.
Snack, like a snack. It's
Okay.
like
Online ID.
Online
it's
ID.
like, it's like code sandbox, but with React Native. And
Expos dash.
yes, and theoretically, it is possible to install third-party packages.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it will work with all the polyfills, but actually, you know what? I can lend you my hotspot because, courtesy of local internet, I do happen to have unlimited 5G without any fair use limit. So you can just connect to my hotspot and it will download in like.
No, it's fine. I got public Wi-Fi here.
Okay.
No, it's slow.
I know.
If you can manage to charge my iPhone, then you can use it. Because like I said, I don't have any limits, but it's just gonna run out of. Okay, so in the meantime, let's open up this project structure and see what's there. Just a very quick walk around. That is probably not even visible from the outside. What was this feature called? Magnifier? Oh my god, I did not do it. This is the Windows. Anyway, if you open up your project and you will see the left sidebar, you've got a bunch of different files. And the good thing is, like, if you have ever run a basic React Native init command, you will notice that there's less files, which for people like me that prefer to just as little files as it can be, this is like paradise. And you only get packages compiled as obvious, double config of course. App.json and app.js are the two files that are most important here, with the app.json being the configuration for Expo. It is pretty extensive. It's just, this is just basics, so it's not really something that we should be aware of. But if you are building native app, you usually open up Xcode and modify some plist or whatever. This is the place where you can do all those settings. So if you want to change your icon, title, build version, or stuff like that, this is the place. So when you are wondering, like, okay, I'm not owning my app, I'm using Expo, you should check this file for any configuration that is possible. And then on another file is the app.js, which is just a basic JavaScript React Native project. Single screen, as you can see, the structure is very simple, pretty much like React. It's just that we have different tags, view, text, and status bar, which is a component, and style. We have style sheet.create, which is something that you may want to replace at some point with something more convenient, like, what are you using for styling on the web? Style components?
React Native, I mean, like MUI, Chakra UI, something like that.
Have you used Tamagui already?
Which one?
Tamagui. I'm probably fucking up the spelling, but
Okay.
the one from Vercel.
Versa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you know, as with every styling library that is pretty cool, be aware. It's actually pretty cool, but
Can you just write it? So
It's
spell
Versa.
it.
yeah.
Can you just
Or you can add it in the Telegram channel.
Maybe you can paste it. So today, like I said, we're not going to be messing around with styling. However, you can do it if you want. But this is like the simplest it can get. Style sheet.create. You may want to call it, but you will quickly notice that the style prop on any view in React Native can actually accept either an object, so you don't have to do style sheet.create and make it. You can write plain object, so you can write style, double curly brace, and then you can write your style. This is more of an optimization technique. It's like creating a separate CSS file, let's say, so that you don't have to transfer expensive objects across, React Native world and native world where you have to style the app. So we have view, you have text, which is just like paragraph or span maybe, and that's pretty much it. Nothing more. Any questions regarding the React Native structure? Okay. The good thing is that it's like it supports pretty much every CSS property. Latest React Native version added support for flex gap and grid, so it's really awesome now. Like very easy to build, like very nice layouts. So this is it, and what I can recommend you to do is switch from npm to yarn. If you're using yarn, just run yarn, and so that we can be using yarn if you want. And also there is a ESLint config. If you want to use, if you have your own, feel free to use it. The one that I'm going to be using is from Uniswap. You can also integrate it. So that's it. So everybody got this running, or still not, excluding the Xcode installation?
I'm using Snack.
Yeah,
Okay.
work with Snack.
How about you?
Yeah. What was that for? That's a styling thing.
For the start?
Styling thing. No, started with that.
For which thing?
Styling.
Styling. Did you paste that on Telegram?
Yeah, already.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
on the, it's on the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So what I can briefly show you is this. Like I said, we want to have like we can like first of all let's do actually add TypeScript support. So in order to add TypeScript support to this project, it's actually very simple. All we have to do is we just have to create a TS. Where is this now? We just need to create a new file. This is really crazy to write this way, but we have to just create tsconfig.json. Actually empty file, nothing more. And just rerun this command again. So we shut down the server that we were running previously, and we start it again. And what happens is that if everything goes well, you should see this prompt saying that we detected you're trying to use TypeScript. Do you want to install some additional dependencies? Yes. And I will automatically configure everything for you with the config. So once this finishes running, you should have TypeScript set up as well. So again, just create empty tsconfig.json and we're ready.
So I was not able to get that.
This place.
No, like the TypeScript one which you did.
So did you create empty tsconfig.json in the root folder?
No.
Yeah. So all you have to do is you have to create tsconfig.json, empty file, nothing inside. If you are Bash guy, you can just touch this file and not do anything.
Yeah.
Empty file, rerun again. It will just look for the file in the file system.
esconfig.js.
tsconfig.json. .json.
.json. Okay.
It is crucial. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, I spent like 3 hours debugging why my ESLint is
You
not
can check
working.
GitHub repo. There's the one file in the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I spent like 3 hours yesterday trying to debug why my ESLint was not working, just to realize I named the file ESLint config.js instead of ESLint.ESLintRC.js. I'm like, seriously? Yeah. So you need to be careful with the name. So like I said, this is step number 2 actually, I think, and I'm going to actually paste the link to commit if you want to check out that one. But like I said, if you've done all those steps, you should land this.
Empty file I created tsconfig.json. After that.
Just run. Just cancel the server that was running.
Okay.
And rerun it again. Yeah. So now for the ESLint config, you can skip this step. I'm just going to do it. Just because actually, just because maybe if you want it, it will actually help you.
Sorry, can we walk on the lightning because it's not that clear from here.
Maybe we can turn on those lights. Huh. You have the conference t-shirt, you should know this. Right. Hey, what's up? Why didn't you tell me there was second Meridian Hotel here?
Yeah, like 5 minutes.
It's not really good to know. I arrive and I'm like, where is this conference? And he's like, what kind of conference? And then I remember somebody messaged yesterday on the channel airport. And for some reason that was very weird to me, like, what airport had to do with marine life? Oh, I know. It's far away from the party, actually, right? Makes no sense. But it's good it's not my talk, because that would be quite crazy. So, guys, now that he's here, you tell him how awesome this workshop is so far. He's just like, just checking.
Okay. So far it's good. Live feedback.
Yeah. So did you manage to get there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now we're going to set up Web3 out, which is the crucial point, and this is where we're going to have like most of the polyfills set up as well. Like I said, Wallet Connect is not working, so we're going to create a Web3 Alpha account, and then we're going to use the API keys and make it all happen. The idea is that there's going to be login button here, you press it, you log in with Google, and then you have your wallet, and then you're good to go. So before we start, we first all have to visit the Web3 Alpha dashboard. Let me paste the link on Telegram again, and like I said, this is the dashboard, and you can all log in with your wallets if you have. That's a very good opportunity to test your Web3 native stuff.
One thing is, don't use your wallet which has a money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, depends, right? Because this is just for the management of the, like, this is not the API, the key that we'll be using for work.
Okay.
This is just for you for like admin stuff. And this is actually, honestly, like, this is the most exciting thing for me in the whole Web3 world, which is, you know, if you think about it like just a short of topic, Web3 apps, like usually there's like a lot of those DeFi projects. I happen to work for one as well. But when I started talking with my friends that are like building on Web3 right now, I think a very common misconception is that your application has to be built and serve like some token related services. It's not. The way I'm thinking about like this whole ecosystem is that in Web3 we have like microservices, for example, where we can have all those different services that we can use and build our app on top. And this is an amazing key component of it, because once you log in with, let's say, Google or GitHub or Twitter, you generate wallet under the hood, and then you can use that wallet to build your whole infrastructure transparently on chain. So let's say you created a intermediate wallet that is derived from your Google account. There is no money in it, but maybe you want to allow your users to do some in-app purchases, then you can top it up, right? Let's say that you want to build a chat application. Since you have wallet, you can now use XMTP or some other Web3 decentralized platforms to do it. You don't have to use Firebase anymore. And you have this connection between your social account and your wallet, which is this project. So it's really cool. While it's not technically like a typical DAPP, I believe this might be very handy if you like want to prototype some stuff later.
Yeah.
Hello to the people that just arrived. You guys are like just watching or want to code along?
No, just watching.
Okay, cool. If you want to code along, there is a Telegram group, there is GitHub there, and every step is a commit. So you can also check it out at the end and be like, yes, whatever you want. So like I said, just log in. And then we're going to create, there's going to be this pop-up where you can choose your Gmail account. And let's say I'm going to use a different Gmail account. And once you get inside, we will have to create a special project for our mobile app, get the API keys, and just get it done. Okay, so currently I need to create some kind of a company. So this is where you should arrive.
So Web3 Auth is used in Uniswap app?
Not yet.
Not it, right?
Not yet. I mean, technically, it doesn't make that much sense because, like I said, once you log in with Gmail, let's say, there is a wallet created for you. Actually, you're gonna create it in a second, but there is no money in it. So, No need. But if, let's say you were building a bank, right? Decentralized institution where you wanted to log in with Gmail, and then you can use that address as a destination for Uniswap exchange.
Yes.
So you can have something like
Yeah, I have used Web3 auth in one of my projects.
So that should be much easier. I can create one API. I'm gonna create one API key for you anyway, like in case you don't want to go through all that process. The only thing is that once we finish, you need to tell me your IP address. I'm gonna tell you where it is. Otherwise, the pop-up will not redirect you once you try to log in. So we create project, which is our workshop demo, and then we're going to use testnet and the chains. We're going to use this EVM, and I actually select Solana as well, just because I use Solana a lot. But we're going to be using EVM. But if you want to use Solana alone, just cross it. Let's just check it. You can also check others. Doesn't really matter at this point. And that's it. Once you create it, we go inside, and then we have the client ID, which is the client ID. It is something that you can write down because it is what we will be doing this. So. Pasting the client ID of the chat, just in case you want to use that one. And yeah, now it is pretty much up to you. I'm going to be following this this guide anyway. You can either follow this guide. I pasted the link on the channel, or you can check out again. You can go to the project GitHub project, and there is a commit called init web3 out. You can just copy and paste it all, and that's where you will see this whole setup. But if you don't want to do it, if you want to do it right now, you can also do it. It is very easy, surprisingly. Just like I told you, it's one of those super easy things, right? This is it's super easy. Okay, my laptop is about to die, I think, judging by that. It's very easy because you have Expo SDK support, so there is nothing really complicated here. The guys actually did a very great job by not depending on anything related to native code. So every time you go to any documentation line, you guys just look for Expo managed workflow, which is what you're doing right now. If you were building a raw React Native app, or maybe you ejected Expo app, which is something we're not covering today, then you could look for the second one, which is Raw React Native workflow. But Expo managed workflow is what you can look up. It is where you can learn about things like how to set it up specifically with Expo, which is very simple, and we will get to it in a second. So for Expo installation, there are two things that you need to get installed. The first one is the React Native SDK, of course. Yarn add web3auth/React Native SDK. It's right here. And then a second one is Expo install Expo web browser. So you will notice that for native dependencies, you're not using npm or yarn, you're using Expo command. And this is because Expo has some compatibility layers and some compatibilities as well. So by running Expo install, you always make sure that the library you're pulling in is compatible with your current Expo version, whatever that version is, whether it's latest. So we need those two before we actually begin configuration. So you should be able to just run it. Actually, Expo install is so good that you can run everything through it, including the, let's say, JS libraries. So the command here would be something like this. Let's say we start a new session here. And that would be Expo install Expo web browser, as well as, let's say, we have this web3auth React Native SDK. I know it's very hard to see, but it is what it is. We run it, and it will say some stuff about installing one SDK compatible native module and one other package using npm. So it's doing two things at once for us. Once it finishes, we'll have everything we need to get started with web3auth. Yeah, and except for one vulnerability, which is surprisingly, I don't know where is that coming from. but it's good. I mean, it's okay for today. So, anybody, like, where are you with this? I mean, on Snack, I guess, I don't know.
I'm just following along.
Okay. What I heard actually
No,
is
I
that
understand that.
when you write like import on Snack,
Sorry?
when you import a module on Snack,
Well, it's
I heard it may auto-install it.
Yeah, it tried, but it didn't really go well.
Okay.
Like it's stuck on resolving dependencies.
How's it going for you guys?
Yeah, so
I'm pressuring you now. Just kidding.
so you executed that install Expo web browser.
Yes.
Okay, why do we need a web browser here? Like
So-
login screen.
for the login.
Yeah. The
Oh.
login will be just this.
Okay. I mean, it's just like a package name.
Just-
package manager. They have named it in such a way. Correct.
It is confusing name. It's not a web browser. It's an API to open up your
So
browser.
basically, it's like third-party dependency that you are installing. Correct. The name is quite
Kind of yes and no. So all the dependencies that are prefixed with Expo are the libraries that are inside SDK.
That is fine. So after Expo, you have like an web browser, right? So that could be like Expo Web3 or something like that.
So everything that has Expo in the name is an official. It's part of the official SDK.
Oh.
What happens is unless you explicitly install it,
Yes.
it is gone. So
Got
that way your build can be. If you install the this mobile preview we have here, this client that is rendering our application is a Expo mobile application. It's called Expo Go. This one. It's Expo Go. You can find it on the App Store as well. Expo space Go
Okay.
and install it. And that application has 100 megabytes
Okay.
because it has all those modules. But the one you're building right now has like 25. But as soon as you start running Expo install web browser, Expo install Expo clipboard that we're gonna install anyway, this will start growing in size up until you reach the 100. But you cannot install something that is not included in the SDK. That's why many people have issues with Expo sometimes, because especially in crypto world, when you need to hash something, there's a lot of native modules for hashes. They're not available here. So it's like choosing between peace of mind and this working, or having native modules but being like, oh my god, why is this build taking time?
Yeah.
So there is always one thing for another. You need to choose wisely.
Now, like looks like Expo command not found.
You have to run. Oh, sorry, I have it actually globally. So just run npx export.
Because I've never used Expo primarily before. So.
Yeah. Actually, I would suggest you run with npx. I just have some old global version that I never have time to uninstall, but
Yeah, got it.
yes.
Yes, right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
NPX Expo. Even then, like I was okay.
Okay, so what are you? Did you create your account there and just got your keys?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay, yes. So now all you have to do is in your terminal you have to actually open up
See that these environments has improved a lot since last time.
Command line.
Yeah.
Yes. When you the last.
So if you are not updated, then it's going to be super difficult. So like I had a pretty good knowledge.
This is
of
the
it.
this is the original.
Yes, but now it's
When you are like managing people and like PM or PA or something, it's hard to do.
So let's open.
Like as a CTO, I missed a lot of coding. Like most of the time, I'm on the call for client or
Yes.
with the team. What I
Yeah,
did
so,
like
when
one
you
project I
scroll
took, which
There
is
will
my
be
favorite one, and I
a,
coded.
yeah. So I go to work on confidence to make sure that
Once you run those two commands, you will be working.
dude, like, that command I executed still like it says not found. So NPX Expo, right?
Yes, the note doesn't say.
Oh,
So now just Expo install, because without like npx Expo itself is just defaulting to start. Like
okay.
npm.
So now like just Expo install.
And those two packages.
So yeah, this is where I got.
Yeah. Oh,
Command not found.
but now there is no npx.
Oh, okay.
See?
Okay, so you have configured in such a way that like you can execute export directly.
Yeah, so we have to run npx expo install expo web browser.
Okay.
And then don't forget about this. Don't forget about the second package, which is what was this first package? The web browser was the one, and the second one was
Package as well. One package we discussed, I guess.
no. There's two.
Okay.
You need to install two packages. The web. Okay. I remember. Of course. The first one is Web3 Auth / React Native SDK. So it's at Web3 Auth / React Native SDK. If you go to the documentation.
Got it. It's there.
Yeah. So once you get that up and running, once you get that installed, why is this?
So any reason like why do you use Yarn?
I just use it. So I just said it at the beginning, so you are not confused.
Okay.
But you can use npm as well, or I don't know.
So what has happened, why Yarn introduced and why NPM is using? So NPM line of code and tree is broken, and Yarn is running very fastly. When you install a package, the both engines, which the bundleizing and installing the package, are the different engines right now. So NPM is mostly broken. That's why you face problem, and you need to change every time a node version, 12 to 16, 16 to 18, and 14 or something.
Yeah.
In Yarn, you don't have faced that problem because the tree is very clean and the running engine bundle is very different.
Okay.
If you don't want to do both of them, you can use Bun. But Bun is very early in beta, but it's much faster than both of them.
Bun?
Bun.
Isn't that
Bun.
node environment?
Yeah, no.
How's that related to npm?
You can use that Bun connecting with your NPM packages.
Okay, so you're saying run npm install within Bun environment.
Yes. That's much faster.
That's clever.
That's much faster, much clever. Bundleizing is small size.
Oh,
I'm waiting for somebody to write it in Rust.
please share that link.
Bun.
So when you install Yarn, just make sure you don't install 2.x. But if you do, just make sure that everybody else knows, because it's like, I don't know, like Yarn. When Yarn first came out, it was so fast.
Yeah.
Everybody moved on. Like I started using Yarn. That's why like when I run npx, which is from npm or just any npm command, I just don't feel like I'm at home. But then they did something strange. They created a new Yarn version, 2.x, amazing version, but they kind of didn't play the rollout super well. What happened is they shipped it out to the community, everything was broken, people were like skeptical, there was a huge pushback, so huge that even though they switched back to 1.x for that time and kept on developing 2.x on a separate branch, a lot of people are still on 1.x just because of that thing that they were like so pissed, never moved on. Which is unfortunate because there's so many features, but for example, at every company that I worked, including Uniswap, we use Yarn 1.x. And it is not possible to go to like 100 engineers and tell them to install Yarn 2. Like, it's not gonna happen. I don't know, it's just not gonna happen. Maybe PNPM would be easier, but it's one of those decisions once you start, not gonna change. So yeah, I use Yarn, but whatever it is you prefer. Okay, so once we get this up and running, we actually need to run two more commands, which are coming again from this. So let me share two more. I'm pasting the exact commands you can run. Actually, sorry, you need to prefix with npx so that it's always working. So now, the reason why we need those two additional packages, which are expo linking and expo constants, are because we'll get to it in a second, but pretty much it's because of this code. We're going to be opening a browser where we can show the Google login and then redirect back to React Native app. So first of all, we need to know through the expo constants module whether we're running inside expo client, which is development mode, this client you have on simulator, the expo Go app, or standalone mode, which is you build your app, it's standalone, it's just yours. Based on that, of course, the name of the app will be different and stuff, so we need to know it in order to figure out the best URL to open up your app back again. So that's why we're using linking when we create URL. I don't know if you can see it, but for all the cases, like for standalone case, we pass a scheme, which is your app prefix. So once you're in standalone mode, maybe your prefix, like the in-app URL, will be my app. That's where you pass it. Otherwise, you don't, because you're not running inside, like you're not running standalone. So we need those two modules, and we will be pretty much copying and pasting this code into our application to make that run. Cool. So this is pretty much it.
Again, this redirectional URL, which is like more like bounded to this expo, right? For every redirection, we will be configuring different setup. Is it?
Yeah, this is specifically for Web3 auth. So once you open up this login that we will open in a second, it has to know how to get back to your app.
Exactly. So let's say if you are using some other library or packages, then like we'll be again configuring them for that particular dependency,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. So if you will be doing any redirect URLs within Expo, you will always need to have this if statement. Whether you're running in, there's a app ownership Expo here. So whether you're running in an Expo client, then you have this URL, and whether you're running standalone in production, you have this URL.
Okay.
Otherwise, it may break. So you need to make sure that this is always present, just because it can change.
And where this constants will be used, resolved redirectional URL?
In a login that we will create.
Oh, in the login that we can.
Yes. You will be pretty much calling Web3 auth in it, and then log in, redirect to this URL, and log in with Google Provider. So it's very simple. So I guess we can get started. So, okay, where is this? Here. I don't know. Pretty much, I think I'll end up somewhere different place where what I was, but let me actually check. Okay, cool. So again, this one, this whole code, I'm just going to shamelessly copy here. This is pretty much what you just saw in the in this description in the docs. And actually, maybe to make it easier for you to follow along, I'm going to also share a link to this commit, so you can open it up. And if you go to a homepage, actually, you will see that I have this code running.
Okay, so basically you created a separate component called home.txx.
Yes, and I recommend you do it as well, because we will soon we'll soon have some other things. So I guess what we can do is just pages folder. But again, this is pretty much up to you. Whatever is the way you want to do it.
Got it.
Can be pages, and actually my structure is different, so I'm going to keep it as the repo, so it's easier for.
Yeah, this makes sense.
This app. Then I create pages, but again, I need to follow this one. Then inside we have home TSX, which is the main screen. And then for the home TSX.
So pages is like subfolder to app, right?
Yeah, it's up to you how you configure it. I don't think I run Xcode.
I guess like we can go it in the similar fashion so that it's easy to follow.
Yeah, I will be trying to follow pretty much what I did anyway, but there might be little differences in that case. Let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, got it.
So TSX instead of JSX because we already activated TypeScript.
Yes.
So that is easy. Okay, I got this one going. I'm going to also rename this TS. TSX. So pretty much what we need to do is we create this home TSX, and again, I think it's just easiest for you to copy the whole file from this commit I shared on Telegram.
Yeah.
No really need to write it down. It's a basic component, just a hello world stuff. And then we have app.tsx. So in app.tsx, all we have to do is we have to pretty much render this component now. So let's just get rid of everything here. So it's empty. And then we write home, and it's beautiful VS Code that automatically imported this stuff here. But in case it doesn't work for you this way, you may need to import it manually from this location. So you have home, and I don't know if this is going to work, but if it's going to work, yeah. I got home, right? So that's pretty much very impressive, I know, but it's very close to like seeing it all in action. And you will see this little wording here as well, which is saying that there's a scheme missing, which is what I told you. We need to set a scheme for our project, and scheme can be configured here on app.json. Now, if you're like feeling confused where we are right now, just go to this GitHub commit, and one of the files has scheme added. So just put your scheme here and be like my workshop app or wherever you want. And this is validated, so in case you make a typo, there will be like some information back. So once you change this, and this is very important, anytime there is any change related to your config, you need to run. You need to start expo again. Otherwise, those changes will not be picked up. So I guess
this scheme is for the URL linking.
Yeah, the scheme is for the linking. Okay. Now it's working. I see the hello, and that's it.
I don't see the hello for some reason.
The beautiful thing here is that, I mean, we just need to make polyfills, and then we are done. So it's like very close.
Yeah. So I was basically getting the same.
Yeah. Did you create the homepage?
Yes, I did, and then replaced the code as well.
Okay.
Still
Okay.
it's-
Press application media TSX. Did you save this one?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And maybe in that case, go.
Everything is correct, even
Okay.
the.
Yeah, that looks good. Try refreshing that simulator. Go to the simulator here,
Oh.
and maybe just like double error. Or yeah. This is interesting. So sometimes little things. So now it's done.
So yeah, double R, like what it does.
It just refreshes.
Okay.
Sometimes, usually we have native fast refreshes every change, but sometimes it doesn't, and in those cases, just reload or close it. Actually, when I was building, for example, Solana application on React Native, my app was crashing every once like half an hour, and CPU was like 500%. So sometimes you need to close it as well. It's not like it's going to last forever. I think they actually have a memory leader, but we have to debug it further. Anyway, it's like sometimes it gets stuck, and you just got to go back.
So having faced an issue that older version of between when you want to build the final build, release it to fix up the older build. And then we have to run a command, to.
With Expo not, but traditionally yes. yeah. But it's like you have to debug it because.
Yeah, I don't know. There is not a proper solution. When once the bug appears, then every time we have to run an extra command.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? When like, I'm partially maybe to blame as well because I was working on those iOS scripts for like building things, but yeah, when you look at React Native architecture and the way it's built, it's actually so beautiful that sometimes you feel like, like many years ago when I was working with Xcode Pipeline, I was like surprised that it completed successfully because some of those solutions are very clever. So it is likely that there might be some little piece like a loop that has to be fixed. especially now that there's new architecture, and like this is beautiful about Expo, that this new architecture is very just like that, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're working with React Native, somebody posted on Twitter recently like the migration guide for community libraries and like all those changes. Pretty scary. So I don't know.
So recent times, like most of them started off with like Expo itself directly, right? So instead of go with an additional way of doing it.
Reimagine Web3 space, I think everybody's using Expo.
Expo.
Even at Uniswap, the mobile wallet started as an Expo. It's ejected now because, like I said, you need to sign stuff, and not every signing library is part of this client because this client is serving everybody.
Yeah.
So they're like, we don't have to include all the crypto dependencies, and that's kind of a problem. I mean, it's good to know that you can eventually write your own like hashing functions, but the fact that you cannot generate PGP keys with React Native without having native module, and the native module itself is questionably good.
Yeah. If you are not using Web3 or then like will you be using Ether.js or Web3.js?
We're going to be actually using Ether under the hood anyway. So that's why I said it's going to be the same.
Yeah, no,
because
like for the creation and like for the onboarding of a wallet, like which one you are using currently, like Ether.js or Web3.js? Ether.js.
Ether plus we have like at Uniswap specifically we have Web3 React, which is like WAGMI. It's actually the library that I was like working for last months.
Web3 React. What is that?
Yeah, it's the name is awesome, right? It's like I don't know how they claim this name, but the name is like awesome. It's like just a collection of hooks for working with React Native and Ethers. So when you have like at Uniswap, we have different connectors, right? You can connect with MetaMask, you can connect with Wallet Connect. So we wanted to have like an abstraction where you can, switch back and forth. So somebody, not me of course, created Web3 React 4 years ago. So when people ask us like, why don't you use WAGMI? I'm like, WAGMI didn't even exist back then, because it was created 3 years later.
So React hook for Ethereum, and this supports React Native as well.
Yeah, it's React. It's platform agnostic. So.
Oh.
Yeah. But we're planning to kind of slowly sunset it. So just use WAGMI, I guess.
Why?
Yeah. Because we're like this library itself is kind of confusing. I mean. It's very simple for just connection management, and that's it. But clients these days, like developers these days, they want like more functionality for like working with contracts and stuff. And we are not planning to extend that functionality because we don't need it, but everybody needs it. So we're like as a company, we are not a open source products company. So we don't have like resources to maintain this library to a degree that everybody will be happy. There are some issues. And we don't want those issues to be blockers. So, we would probably consider migrating away at this point. But, migrating, like when I joined Uniswap and I looked at the code base, I was like, yeah, let's migrate to Next.js, let's migrate to this and that. Because it's just a simple app, right? It's just Exchange, right? That's like a widget, and that's it. It's not.
Okay, so
once you get into the code, you're like, maybe we should not migrate. So with Web3 React, it's like, we know it's not the best right now, but the migration is going to be more expensive to do than dealing with whatever it is right now. So
okay, so it's like Web3 for React, that one, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with Web3.js.
Yeah.
It's just the name. It's using Ethers under the hood, and that's it. So it's the name may be confusing depending on how you interpret it. Like I joined Web3 space not so long ago. So for me, Web3 doesn't really speak for Web3.js because I haven't ever used that library and it's now not that popular. Just like for you, it doesn't really matter what the React Native pain points were 3 years ago. I know them all, so every time I'm getting confused. But whoever joins right now is like, oh my god, this expo is beautiful. There were times where people were questioning whether it was actually like okay, like dramas in the community.
And you're still using Web2 React in the Uniswap history?
Yeah, I mean in the web app.
In the web app?
Yeah, not in the
Uniswap. Uniswap web app supports Web3 or?
No. We are talking about Web3 React, not Web3.js. Web3 React, like the name, that's the library we're using for just connections.
Yeah, so under the hood, like it uses Web3 again.
No, it's
Web3
using
JS.
It's using under the hood. It's using MetaMask injected provider and Wallet Connect injected provider.
Oh.
Sorry, Wallet Connect provider.
Okay, not Web3 JS or like Ether
No.
JS.
It's using Ether. It's using provider from Ether's library under the hood.
Okay.
What we are doing is we're taking all those providers, whether it's Web3, Ethers, or whatever. We package them in an abstraction that has similar
Yeah.
unified API.
But
You know-
honestly, like Ether.js is like a wrapper on top of Web3.js. Then like under the hood, it's again same Web3.js you are using, correct?
That can be like, I did not go that deeper actually. But
Okay.
there is a new one anyway, VM, right? VM?
Yeah,
I don't know how
something.
you say that. But anyway, if you are interested in this topic, I recommend you watch my talk tomorrow, which is precisely about Web3 React, Wallet Connect, Web3.js, and all that stuff.
Okay.
That's actually what I have cool diagrams explaining the difference. So that might be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point is that we could use Web3 React here as well, but I wouldn't use it for the workshop because as soon as we start, you would be like wanting to write contracts, for example, read from them, and what happens is, you know, it is just easier with what, like, personally I'm not a huge fan because I prefer being close to the metal, so I like Ethers.js, all that low-level stuff, APIs and types, but it's easier just in general to work with like, use read contract hook or something from WAGMI, it's just very easy. So not everybody likes it that way, depends on your preference, but I think generally speaking for like workshops and just getting started, it is much easier.
Yeah. Got it.
So once we have it running, this is what we have. We will be adding a simple login finally. So before we do that, we need to install 2 more packages, and I promise these are the last 2 we have to install. These are actually polyfills. So as soon as we start using, as soon as we start using Web3 auth, we will have some errors because there are, like I said, the environment is different, so we are missing different things. So what we have to install is 2 libraries. We have to run again npx expo install expo-crypto and buffer. The second one is without expo, so just those 2 packages, expo-crypto and buffer. And this is part of another comment on GitHub.
Yeah, please can you post it in the Telegram?
I'll post it.
Yeah, it will be easy. So this is for the purpose of crypto buffer.
So this is for polyfills. So first of all, we need a buffer. Buffer is usually available on a global object in a browser. So a lot of those web libraries like Web3 Auth, they use buffer for like buffer related things.
Okay.
And Expo Crypto is, you know, a crypto that is also available in the global namespace, and that's where you have methods like get random bytes and stuff like that. So this is used by those libraries to generate some random stuff.
Okay.
So pretty much, and this will become much clearer again. If you want to copy and paste it, this is another commit in the app. What we have to do is pretty much, let's create a inside the app. Let's create a new file. We can call this file whatever you want, but I usually do it like polyfills ts. And then we have this.
It should be TSX, right?
It doesn't have to be when you don't deal with React code. So as long as it's just a simple
Okay.
simple code, then it doesn't really have to be TSX.
Yeah, got it.
So what we are doing here is very simple. Actually, I can finally make it larger, which is we are importing that explicitly, and we are assigning that on a global object. So that's the first thing, and the second one is crypto. And as you can see, I'm actually ignoring a TS error, which is saying that the crypto from Expo Crypto is not compatible with the type for global.crypto, which is correct. Because like I say in this comment, the crypto polyfill doesn't contain subtle Web3 crypto API, which is a problem. So if you start running something like XMPP, you will have runtime crash, cannot run, it's crypto.subtle.something. There is no polyfill for that one. I mean, not that I know. So I was actually chatting with XMPP team last week about it, and they said they were planning to rewrite their React Native SDK to not rely on this, so that it can be used without rejecting. So once we have this, it is a good idea to actually import this file somewhere so we can have like some actual meaningful effect. So I guess we can do it right here. Yeah. So this will just make it work. And now that we have it's a moment to configure the Web3 auth. So what we can do is we can go to the pages, the home page, and somewhere here between resolve redirect URL and the export default, I'm having some weird issues on my setup, dropping frames, but I don't know. So what we can do now is we can create this Web3 auth client, which is the one we're going to be using for logging. And so to do it, it's very simple. We create new Web3 auth. For some reason, the import is broken, so we just need to make sure we import from the correct file. Yeah. Then we pass it to web browser. See, this is scrolling. So we need to import the web browser from web browser package that we just installed before. Once we get it, we pass it as a first argument here, because that's what the API requires. Then we have the init params, and those init params are client ID, which is the client ID that you created before, and you maybe have it somewhere. If not, you can just take it from the Telegram group. Yeah. Then we have network. Network is going to be one of Open Login Network's testnet. This is just internal constant by the library to tell that we are creating accounts on the testnet. So whatever we create right now is not going to interfere with the ones that we were using in production. And then we have the redirect URL, which is right here, and that's pretty much it. So once we have it, why this component is called this way? I don't know why it's way. I need to restart this. Okay, so then very simple stuff. Actually, it's fine. Like, I don't even have to write it. It's already suggested for me. Right? Oh, nice. How can you explain that? So very easy thing. So I'm actually going to do it this way. Okay. We're going to use state to hold the information about login or logout state. Actually, you know what? I have to close the VS Code because for some reason it's dropping frames. I don't even know what's going on, but my computer is hot. There must be some error. Okay. So then we're going to write the async handler, which is going to be the function that we will be calling to the register. We wrap it in a try catch. So usually a good practice here is to just do something like alert the error for the time being, that you may want to have something more sophisticated in production. And then again you have the state, and state is going to be coming from the login function that I said we were going to call anyway. And for that function, we have actually two parameters. The first one is the login provider, and I think that is coming from here. Say Google, and then the second parameter is actually I don't really know why. I could redirect it in both places, but I think this one is not correct. It's frozen. I guess it's too much for it. So, meanwhile, because this is pretty much the very last function that we need to log in. I kind of guess that you maybe got lost somewhere. Like I said, on Telegram, the last GitHub commit is the commit that has all those functions. Okay, it's totally dead now. So what you can do is you can open up this commit and just there you will see all those functions, so you can copy them into your code. And please give me 1 minute. Okay, it's actually faster than I thought, but I still don't know why it died. That is, maybe I should not have Photoshop open in the background.
I got stuck at like global.crypto.
Yeah, you got that already?
I get that alert and like, okay, so the code is commented. No, like even after adding that link, still like I'm facing that issue.
Let me check. Let me check. Just let me close all the things here. I'm hoping that my laptop will start functioning properly.
So this one.
Yes. So what's the error? This is coming from. Can you highlight the error? No. This is okay. If you do like, do you know how to activate this? This is like
Option.
do you have like ignore or something? Disable inspection. Because this one is coming from VS. This one was coming from WebStar, so I guess you don't need TS ignore. This is for like VS Code.
Okay.
I have trouble getting the profile working.
Yeah.
So I'm getting an error when I click login. It's saying property buffer doesn't exist.
Yeah. Did you import to this file the optimizations?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, very well. I got there a couple of times. Just make sure. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. You don't really. Yeah.
Even that link is required for WebStorm password. So that when I just uncommented it, it
Yeah.
still was playing error.
Yeah.
I just included
Yeah, because you're. Yeah. Makes sense. And did you catch up? Or just yeah. Try to make it as granular as possible while I was doing it. So cool.
But you need to do that.
So you missed that part. No, it's okay. So what I said, the reason we're using this is as soon as we get the role and everything's the same. So let's say I do the opportunity check that I have to call and not overview. Usually, be careful with those workarounds online where it's just like some polyfills, because usually we bring a lot of dependencies. But Wallet Connect right now is not working with React Native. So until that's working, I chose something that was working so we can advance that. But if you were building web app or if you were building React Native next month, then the result and support is finally out and stable. We would do all connect and then we have the normal provider.
And if I want to do like a static call to a contract, I can do it without.
Yeah. You can do it just as with details. Actually, if we manage to get there, but you can also check one of the latest comments. I have the contract call for like just checking balance, or like you as actually checking balance of like some years when you token on Polygon testnet. So I don't know what was his name, but you can use the same concept.
You just need this for the to write and run.
So we can have like some transfer, like just prototype some transfer balances and stuff. Because without it, we wouldn't even have it. And there was no way right now to easily connect your gateway app with Connect. Just because 99% of people, they don't use it this way, unfortunately yet. Most people use web apps, and for mobile, they're building wallets. Building wallets is easy, but using them on mobile, not very easy. If you're building native. So hopefully, like it is going to be changing. Like we talk for 3 hours and like this, like that.
So I see that in your code you are using these constants.
Oh yes, this one is coming from the app.json. If you check,
Okay.
you have to check actually my code app.json. You will see there is a let's see, I modified it as well. On the left side where you can press the app.json at the top of the side. Just like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's either you do it inline or you use constants. It's up to you.
And if you want to use like
Yeah. So you need to do the app.json and you need to do a scheme. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you have need somehow run this stuff. I don't know.
So
I
those
wonder if that's possible. Do you think there's like a way to restart this device? Or you change files? Yes.
Yeah, I tried it on iOS.
That should kind of like code like this is okay. Any reason why not running the laptop?
Okay, so I don't have Xcode set up, and I just installed my Android SDK. Oh, rather sorry, I have to install Tiramisu, so this might happen.
Actually,
I'll still check.
you know what? I may have forgot about like something, but can you run locally Expo Star, the server?
yeah, like if you want I can help you, it's very
Because I think NPX Expo Star, yeah, I think. You think NPX maybe? Yeah. Try running and tell me if you get the QR code. Because I just forgot about one thing. Actually, I think I have told you. I have one solution. You know what? I think I have found a solution. I forgot about it. Can you run the NPX start, NPX Expo start just to get the server? Yeah, but you know the thing is you don't need it. I don't know why I didn't think about it. You could have just installed the Expo client on your iPhone, scan the QR code, and run it there.
Yeah, we can do that as well.
Because you don't really need an Expo as long as you're not running it on your iPhone.
That's
You just go to the App Store, install the Expo Go client, scan the QR code,
Yes.
and you can build it without Expo. Jesus Christ, that is so enormous.
I follow along, so I know what's.
Yeah, so I think you just need to make sure that you're on the same Wi-Fi and the IP addresses work. But I think this should be it.
So so that we can remove the.
Yeah, you need to log in from both sides here and in the CLI, and then it will show up automatically when you run it.
You said before that you cannot sign inside Reactive and with graphic model.
No, you can do it. Yeah, that thing works. The only thing that doesn't work right now is like wallet connectors, like I said earlier, and
Yeah, see,
like the mobile.
How would you use it?
Is there a way this one? No. I mean, now that I know. So there's no way. The only way to connect MetaMask to mobile is just like connecting MetaMask mobile with on the web through web.
But you told us before that you can't really get the wallet network for using
Like some additional native modes, yeah. Because like when you're building a wallet, for example, you may want to generate some keys, and some of the built-in methods might not be enough. But this is something that you need to figure as you go. For the starter, it should be fine. For this one, you only have typically you only have 3 types of providers. The first one is Wallet Connect. You also have MetaMask provider, which in reality is injected provider, which means that it's injected by the extension wallet into your window object. So it's like MetaMask, Coinbase, Trust Wallet browser extension, all those they work the same. They inject window.ethereum object, and that's injected provider. You also have Wallet Connect, which is for every wallet that cannot inject. So your mobile wallet cannot inject through the browser, so they're using Wallet Connect. Just like mobile, when you're trying to connect with the MetaMask browser extension, there's also no way for these two to operate, so they're using Wallet Connect as well. So they only have 2. I mean, you technically have the third one, which is the one we're going to be using today. It's called JSON RPC provider, and it's the one that we're going to pass this wallet and create it, and this is the one you use when you go to this. So this one, working perfect. It's like working perfect.
So wallet connect in general is buggy, even in yeah.
I guess I was kind of lucky, but we did have some so we were working on the V2 for the last month, and we were working together on some things like their Ethereum provider would not implement the IP 1193 stack, so we would have to pay HTTP types,
So that's what you can do is I myself integrated the wallet connect feature in native Android. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you can do in React Native is you can again write a platform code which is like a React Native bridge.
Yeah.
Under the hood you can access Android and iOS code separately. And but that's a lot of work.
But actually it's one of the workarounds I've seen people doing. They run their code in a web view on the side, and they cross communicate.
Yeah.
But also, the problem with Wallet Connect V2 and V1 not working is that they started with a browser first client. So they use window everywhere, and they open, window.open, and they open this pop-up. And this is not working in React Native. That's the only problem. They started with abstraction that was talking about that's like this. They do have an example of doing Wallet Connect V2 in React Native, but they create the whole model themselves. So I was like, okay, for this workshop, this is an overkill if I tell you guys, you have to write QR code generator, you have to render wallet icons just so that you can do this connection. But like I said, they're working to make this reliable. So next month, hopefully, it should be as easy as just logging in and opening a profile. So at least they're aware. So for time being, we can keep prototyping and So did that mobile thing succeed?
It's Expo Go after
Did you manage to log in?
No, I mean that part's separate, but I'm getting another error.
It's funny, you cannot find NPX.
But I do have NPX here.
I think it's complaining that this is maybe not a, but this is a export. There is upload.json, so it should be good. Yeah. Did it work before when you ran NPX through Yarn?
Oh no, earlier I was using Snack until I clicked the.
What if you do Yarn? Did you use Yarn or not?
I'm using Yarn.
Okay, so if you do Yarn start, let's say.
Why it is showing
Okay, and
Wait, maybe I.
see, this is a you need to like the best thing is just get the whole package JSON from this project because I think it's missing some information. Yeah, like explanatory and that stuff. This should make it. So there is somebody using the see. Now I can also learn something from you. Yeah.
What is that new stuff?
I'm just using Vim.
You are using
Vim.
Vim, okay. Vim editor.
Yeah.
No mouse and stuff. Okay. Hopefully this works. This is like straight checkout with DAPP, or you are just
Quietly.
okay.
So maybe
I would just try this.
This menu is so
Maybe there's like-
difficult to manage.
Are you still on the local host?
This menu, as in like everything is scattered.
Yeah, because it cannot run YAML install.
You went to the one here.
There's one here.
There's one here. But yeah, it's quite confusing because
Yeah.
is it
Manager.
You're from?
Chennai.
This way is good from. I know from.
Did you change the did you change the URL?
Yeah, I got it to like
Or did you make it or not? Okay. Then just I guess just whatever. We can just continue and then continue resolving AC codes. So the next thing actually I'm just gonna take my laptop with me because it's so much easier right here. So the next thing on the repo is so we need to do a couple more things. The first thing is that we need to rewrite this from use state to something that will not go away every page we load. Because right now, as soon as you refresh, the information about you being authenticated is gone.
okay.
And we need to make it so that you can actually keep reloading your app and doing each process.
Okay.
And for this to work, we need this is at this point we just persist state with Jotai. So we need this. We need to install this Jotai library and React Native async storage, which is a storage library. And then, as you can see, pretty much all we have to do is.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But I think yeah, this may apply to you as well. So once we have the he's actually further away, so he skipped that part. So now that the login works, once you log in, after reloading the app, that information is gone. So you need to reload. You need to log in every time you reload the app, which is not what you want. So we need to persist that information. And to persist that information, we need two libraries. I mean, you can do it manually, but it's not worth it. You can do it with two very nice libraries. The first one is Jotai, which is a library for state management. And the second one is just React Native async storage.
Oh yeah, async storage uses shared preference in Android and
Yeah.
user defaults.
Yes. So we are using this plus Jotai. Yeah, Jotai. I'll send you the commit so you can check it out.
Okay.
And I'm sending it on the workshop. So the thing is that Jotai is very similar to use state. So it's very easy to replace. And the code that I have created for the authentication, I'm using something called Atom with storage. So you can check it out. It's gonna make more sense. It's gonna make way more sense from the top. So the thing is, we use this atom with storage, and we have async storage there, so that every time you mutate your atom, let's say you set new user, it will automatically be persistent.
So atom storage, which one is that? It's not there in the computer.
No. No, it's there. It's at the very top, the first file. The very first file. This, see?
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the Xcode and get rid of that sudo. It will chase you.
I'll get rid of the macro.
As soon as you start using sudo, you're
It's just easier getting rid of the macro.
Now you don't know what she's saying.
So that's what they do. So they store the whole file in encrypted form.
Yeah.
So JSON basically.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So you need a key, and that key comes from a various. You can have that key persisted somewhere.
Yes.
That's still fine. You can access the file, entire file.
Yes.
Inside contents are completely.
Yes. Makes sense.
It's a double mechanism basically.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I'll go now because my demo time is coming up.
Yeah. Is that this VCSP taking thing?
Exactly. That's the same.
So
I'll send stuff to you over time.
Yeah. Good luck, man. Good luck. The VCSP date. That is fine.
Is that tomorrow?
That was like reaction of somebody tired with like startups.
Fundamentally, I am a code developer, so I would never get into that area.
I feel like it deserves more attention.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
what.
it's stupid.
I'm with you on this. So how my way of approach is I build a strong project so that VC comes to my project.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
You don't want to go to the.
Yeah,
The problem is that market is gone. Like that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
But it's the same with cars. Now, if you want to buy a car or a watch, you need to, they're sold out. These guys, so they're not even sometimes picking up their phones. And the same with VCs. Like it's not the market for like us. They're like calling us like, hey, please build something. It's like really for them.
The projects which I worked entirely it's a bootstrap project. So we build a strong fundamentals, and by which many would approach at least agencies who handle VCs.
But I think I got it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good.
We should definitely catch up. Sorry for not responding, but this preparation's got me so
How long are you staying in the
like forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, pretty cool.
How
So
long
you
have you
see
been in
next
Dubai?
day.
6 months.
6 months.
Oh, okay. I wish I came earlier though, but I'm not going anywhere.
That's good. That's a good thing to say before Ramadan. And then
I find Europe is still cheaper than Dubai.
And Poland is more expensive. I can genuinely tell you,
Yeah.
Poland is more expensive.
I've been to close to 7 to 8 countries in Europe. Most of them I find it cheaper only. So Italy, specifically Rome, Barcelona, Paris.
And like what kind of expenses?
Stay, accommodation, and then flight expenses,
I
traveling
don't know.
inside.
I don't know. I think that Europe is specifically expensive as far when it comes to premium places, and Dubai is all premium places, so it's totally average. Let's say, speaking in Italy, we go. Let's say we go. We're to Portofino, which is this beautiful Italian place. It's Ferrari Portofino.
Yeah.
I was there. I was just curious what's it all about. Coffee, €20. Okay, for espresso.
Okay.